Good Voch, everybody. Thank you for coming. Laila is not used to the early hour, and that the fact that I'm here a little earlier than normal, they'll start coming in soon. We had a minyan for the youth today, and on the one hand I was happy, on the other hand I was a little sad. I was happy because it was matzliach, there was not a single seat available, there's people out the door, there's between 60 to 80 people here. On the other hand, I wish they would daven on time. What was that slacha? Rabbi say an amazing email, literally an amazing email. It's really a Sunday email because Moshe Shabbos is one of the shiurim that not everybody watches. By the Shabbaton last year, it's coming up soon, Be'ezer Hashem, Shabbaton. I met a woman and I spoke about this. A woman came over to me, my wife, and Benny. Maybe somebody else was there, and she said that she had a dream, she had to learn Beitza, and she went to the Rav, and the Rav told her what Shas is, what Gemara is, and she found the Shir, and she started watching the Shir, and she became more and more religious. And then she gave the whole thing. She came for the Shabbaton with her husband and her wife and her daughter, and she said that she plays the shir loud at home because she wants to influence her husband as well. So that's the background of this email. Dear Rav Eli, 3 Hasidim and a kibbutznik walk into a Krav Maga class. I know it sounds like the beginning of one of your jokes, but this is real. This is a real Mazel Chaya, and it all happened thanks to MDY. Let me backtrack a little bit. I'm the kibbutznik in the story, and even though I didn't grow up Orthodox in an Orthodox home, I'm on the path to Torah mitzvahs since meeting my wife. Together we're growing to be stronger, more committed Jews. My wife has been doing the daf since Mesechtes Tainus. Last year she dragged my daughter and I to the Shabbaton for a siyum of Seder Nashim. I don't exactly know how to explain it, but we felt like we experienced the taste of the Geula, uplifting Torah. We heard different kind of Jews praying together, a real Achdus Yisrael. We received some much needed strengthening after October 7th, and were changed by the experience. I joined the daf when you began teaching it in Hebrew. It is changing my life every single day, to the extent that when we were invited to spend a week in August vacationing with a Hasidic family in Monsey, that is Yossi Klein's family, big Bal Chesed, taking like, okay, come, like there's no connection really, different from different worlds. We took it. What happened next, no one expected. My daughter went to their kids' camp for a week, Hasidic camp, a girl from Connecticut. Our wives became the best of friends. Their kids taught us Yiddish, and we taught them Hebrew. We ate together, played together, learned together. Guladik, he writes. My Hasidic friend brought me to his Krav Maga lesson, but the lesson I got that week was much more inspiring. I'm sharing this story because during Sukkot, or as he calls it, Sukkot, as I was shaking the lulav, I suddenly realized that just like we bring together the Arba Minim, So does MDY bring together different kind of Jews, bonding us with daily Torah study and connecting us in the deepest possible way with Hashem and each other. Thank you for your unbelievable dedication to all the amazing people around you who see the beauty and the greatness of that connection. David Arnold. So it worked. She kept the Shiran. He's turning around. It's changing his life. There's a picture of him. It's a shvacha picture of him and Yidi. That's Yossi Klein's young kid waiting for a bus or something. I don't know. Something in Muncie, I guess. It's outside Yossi's house because you were there. I know. Did you spend Shabbos there? Or? Barbecue. Check this out, Rabbi Isa. Listen to this. Benzin Glicksman. Good morning, Rav Eli. I'm happy to share the news that Baruch Hashem, we have started a U.S. military MDY WhatsApp group yesterday. As of the time I'm writing this message, we have Baruch Hashem 18 people that have signed up in the U.S. military. Please share the link below. Here, I'll put it on the screen. So if anybody wants, can join the WhatsApp group as well. Very respectfully, Sergeant Glicksman, your lone Talmud in Deep Gullis, Utah. Is your daughter on the list? Oh, I'm hoping one day you'll give a live share here in Utah, maybe. So, my daughter is on her way there. She's still in Chicago, in our house in Chicago, but she's Be'ez Hashem going there. And so I guess, I don't know where in Utah he is, but if he's anywhere near Park City, when I'm on the slopes, maybe we could work something out. I intend on visiting my daughter more often than I visit her when she lived in Yerushalayim. Let's put it that way. She's going to be living on the slopes, if you know what I mean. Any excuse. Dear Rav Eli, I'm a student at Leva Torah and put together a Daf Yomi group of 8 guys. So we have it in the army, and we have it in the army of Leva Torah. I think some of them are representing them today. Here they are yeah. At least one of them is here. Shalom Aleichem. Are you in this picture? He's not in the picture. They're trying to get him. Who's your nephew? My nephew. Blue shirt. Blue shirt. Wow. I hope he doesn't like these slow songs. No, he's not. He's more the G crew. Yeah, G. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Eitan G. Double. We got double the cookies today because 2 by 2 because of the parsha. I was hoping they were going to be animal cookies, but Baruch Hashem, he finished Parshas Noach. He's on the way. He's on the way for Be'ezrat Hashem. Oh, there's cookies for everybody. You sponsor? You see him? Yeah, come on. Awesome. Listen. I see him, you see him. I really hope, though, when we finish Parshas Vayechi, which is the Simon Bereshis, there's going to be steaks. There's going to be helicopter. I don't want the cookies then. You know what I'm saying? No. That's going to be good. We're going to do the real. Yeah, awesome. Uncle Louis. Get it right. Come on. We want to say thank you very much for the Gemaras. They are small and convenient, perfect for bringing to the shir. We'll use them in good health and shtag every day. Thanks again. Mordechai Weiss, beautiful. Where's Mordechai Weiss? Is he here? Here, there's a chair for you. No, don't get up. Move over. There's one chair, special. That's his makam over there. Don't put him too close to me. He's dangerous. Especially today. He'll bite me or something. Weiter. Oh. This is Mayor Rose. I hear Mayor Rose sent me like the 10th email or more about my mistake that I made by the Reb Chaim Volozhiner's caver, where I said that he closed down the yeshiva. It wasn't him. It was many, many years later. A boy say, don't make the mistake. Halavai, I should get so many emails when I make a mistake in the Gemara, which is every day. But this was like, everybody knows this mistake. This was a bad one. Okay, Shkach Mayor Rose from Modi'in Lit. With immense gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we'd like to announce that we became a Zaidi and Bubby again for our grandson born to our son Yehuda. You don't know what it is. Yehuda and daughter-in-law Liba Jaffe in Dallas, Texas on Shabbos Bereshis. We will only share in simple regards Zalman Jaffe, who sits between Leib, David, and Rabbi Stroh. Oh, here he is. Mazel tov. Come on. I see you every day. I might not know your name. I still don't know your name. Selman. No. Oh, how? How do you say? But what was the first name? Selman? That's what they call you in South Africa? Really? Selman? Selwyn. No. Selwyn. Valdik Selwyn. All right, Yishkoyach, Rav Jaffe, Mazel Tov. I need to show the Olam here. It's Baruch Hashem. It's a lot different than last year. Somebody just gave another $5,000, and these two anonymouses are legit. They're not in there like kilo. Like two people gave $20,000. One of them, the first time he gave $10,000 to MDY, maybe one of the first times it was at the Seam of Yuma, which is what the guys got me. Boys got me this as a gift for the Yuma, and we're at that yeshiva right by the Kotel. What is it? Netiv Aryeh, and he gives me a check for $10,000, and he flew down the stairs on his back. So since then, people stopped giving me $10,000 checks. They just wire it now. But this guy, he's legit. He was on the trip with us, and he gave $20,000, and somebody else gave $20,000. We have Avi Kamyansky's thing here. But the $5,000, we might have to open up another. So yesterday, somebody gave the guy. He sells faucets. This guy, Shmuel Kleiman, imports. He does like that's exactly what happened. He came to sell Yossi something, and Yossi, I think Yossi bought from him also. But first, that's what happens to me. Ask where's, I just saw him walking. Where's that our locksmith guy? Here he is. He walked into my house to change the lock. He said, "Timeout. You do the daf." The next day he was there doing the daf. He never missed. He brought food to this. He's a very big part of the shir. He did these stickers. The stickers for these guys for behind the phone. You also have one. Show the camera. Everybody. Oh, we all have one here. Here we go. You also. The kids, sir. He's a big part of the shir. You come to the shir. You come to my house. That's what's going to happen. Oh, kosher phone. Kosher phone. Here, bring them all. Here, Spiegel, you also got one. Oh, bring them all. Why not? This is also kosher. This is the hechsher. He has double kosher. Wow. Shkoyach here. Get these back. The great. Okay, fine. Yishkoyach, Rabbi Isa, here we go. The shir is sponsored. The Masechta, the Masechta is sponsored for the safe and speedy return of all that. I wanted to yell at you though that you forgot to tell me about some guests. Who's the guest here today? Rabbi Isa, remind me. You guys, you're not so new. You look at me like you've been here for months.
First time.
Oh, okay. Who? Where are you from? Shalom. What's your name?
Eli, and my son was here last week.
Week and a half ago. And he's trying to get you. What a day to come. Okay, fine. Bezer Hashem, one day. Shkoyach for coming from Nofai alone. Who else? And you guys are from Leva Torah, you said? Okay, great. He's not a guest. He's not a guest. Are you joking? Wow. Yeah, you are. Anyway, the Masechta is the saving speedy return of all the hostages. Parnassa B'revach, health and strength for rebellion. Parnassa family, Lakewood New Jersey, because Torah is the best Sgula. Parnassa Yosef Ben Chaya Sara for Parnassa B'revach. Parnassa Kidnovations LLC in honor of my uncle Elchanan Pressman Fishel. I was so excited that turning the daf is like 2 words. Like, wow. And all of a sudden he sticks in this Parnassa Chodesh now. Kidnovations. Wow. So I still have to say him. Great. Okay. I know, but maybe we could shorten it. It's 3 lines here. Rebbitzen Stefansky and Fishel should be zechus for Akiva Simcha Ben Fayga and shidduch for Yehudit Chaya. Take out the whole Rebbitzen Stefansky thing. She doesn't watch the shir. She doesn't care. She gets the bracha. Everything is good. Thank you to Rebbitzen Stefansky. Something giving up your husband. It should be zechus for a year filled with Mazel, Bracha, Parnassa B'revach and Refuah. Parnassa Shavua, Refuah Shlema for Tinoik ben Alten Chama, Besoich Kol Shari Chol Yisrael from his family. Amen. Parnassa Yom, Dr. Mark Berkson in honor of my daughter Shoshana Miriam on the occasion of her bat mitzvah. Wow, that's rare. That's a good one. Thank you, Mazel Tov. Mordechai Sapaznik. That's not rare. L'zeich Nishmas Harold Tzvi ben Menachem Zechron Lebrach. Someone who was just niftar in Zechus Torah. He was a part of our official Shachter's shir on Wednesday night. In Yeshiva or Yitzchak, he'd be in the Yeshiva every night as well. May his neshama have an aliyah. Amen. Start of the month, zechus for Rav Eli and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. Yasher Chaya. A boy side daf kuf lamed. I don't want to sound, corny or anything, but this is one of the simplest daf in Mazel Bava Basra, as the name states. Daf kal. Very, very simple. If you don't trust me, wait till the end of the daf, you'll know. Says the Mishnah.
Does that mean it's a hard daf?
No, b'chlal not. There's no such thing as a hard daf. I want to remind the Olam we just learned the Mishnah daf kuf chavav Amud Beis. And over there we learned now, the last red line underlined. If a person wants to give his children inheritance while he's alive, it doesn't work, says the Mishnah. How do you give your kids stuff, inheritance, while a person is alive? You have to give it as a gift. If you say that it's inheritance, that doesn't work. Inheritance is something when a person dies, it happens automatically. A bachar gets 2 parts, the other children get another. You cannot give inheritance while a person. You can give a gift. Vim Amar again. Vim Amar Mishum Yerusha Lo Amar Klum. So this Mishnah that we're learning now is a continuation of that Mishnah. Imagine it's one long Mishnah. A lot of times we have it. Maybe somebody could look it up. Where's the Mishnah? We have Mishnahs here. Do me a favor, look it up. See if it's one Mishnah in the Mishnah. I didn't look it up. I have a feeling like it's one long Mishnah. Might be wrong. But regardless, sometimes, we had 3 daf Gemara, difficult daf kind of, interesting daf, not like your typical Bava Basra daf, about the first part of the Mishnah. Now we're going to the second part of the Mishnah. So here's the picture. A guy has a daughter, doesn't have sons. What's the halacha? The Yerusha goes to her. Now, what does this guy do? A little bit of a shmendrik. He gives it to his own brother. He doesn't like his daughter that much. He gives it to his brother. That's aser. That doesn't work. How about this? The guy has a son and a daughter. The halacha is it goes to the son, not to the daughter. And he decided to give to the daughter, again, something against the Torah. Yosef Verman told me a great story of Maiseh Chaya with a rabbi that everybody is familiar with. He was nifter. And he left over a nice apartment in Arzei Abiru. So one of the brothers said that since there's a sister there, he doesn't want the sister to inherit the part of the apartment. He says, Midaraisa, Abbas Eni Yereshus. That's what he said. So the older brother said, yeah, Midaraisa, a Bechar gets 2 parts. So let's divide it that I get 2 parts. I'm going to give my part to the sister. In other words, she didn't lose out. She got the same part, the same amount she's supposed to get. The thing is, now she has a fight with her brother. Her brother is being a jerk. And so everybody does differently. If the father says specifically, this is how it's going to go, I'm giving this amount to this, daughters don't get anything, okay. They're going with the Torah. But if afterward there's nothing said and you want to be like that, and I'm not saying what to do and how to do it, a Maiseh Chaya. Interesting story. I really don't know what happens. Like, I don't know what people do when there's daughters today.
Write a will.
What?
Write a will.
There's a halachic will? And they knock the daughter out, or they leave the daughter in? Most people leave the daughter in. Okay, nice. Well, as a matana. Halachic will, matana, exactly. That's what we're discussing here. He didn't do it as a matana. He said yirosheni. That's the problem. When a person says yirosheni, there's a major problem. It doesn't work. Loi omar klum. It's worthless. Why? You can't say something that's against the Torah. You could give a gift while you're alive. You can do whatever you want while you're alive. You give away everything to the humane society. I don't know what. People do that. They give everything they own to, what was her name? That very famous, wealthy woman in New York that everybody hated her. When she died, she left over like $12 million to take care of her dog. Leonie Helmsley. She was related to me through the Pupkos, I think. And I was going to go schmooze with her about the Yerusha, whatever. I chickened out. Helmsley, yeah. Fine. Everybody remembers. It was either every day she was on the cover of the Post or there was Trump. Remember those days? What? You're saying, okay, I don't remember. But anyway, yeah. She was fat. How much money did she leave to her dog? You remember? Something crazy. He was alive. Like, what do you need? How much could the dog eat? And how? What is it? It is a continuation? This is confusing. What did you give me here? Oh, yeah.
It says on the side what page is in the Gemara.
Oh, Daf Kuf Lamed Amud Aleph. Thank you. Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah. Thank you, Gary. So here, if you see over here, it's Mishnah Hey, and it just continues. It says over here on the side, Daf Kuf Chovav Amud Beis. Okay, great. It makes sense. It's just one continuation. The problem is that it's a little bit of a contradiction to what the first part of the Mishnah. So we have to say it's just two different people. I can't do this anymore, Steve. Contradiction. You know, it's like it's because I'm watching too much Trump, or just natural. Oh, I always did that. Okay, and then, Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. So Rabbi said, you all know this Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. We had this 20 times. What did Rabbi Yochanan say? Now, by the way, if we stop over here, we infer like a 3-year-old could infer. It says over here, the first words of the Mishnah. If I want to give all my stuff as Yerusha to my next door neighbor, instead of giving it to my daughter, it doesn't work. What's mashma? Mashma that this case right over here, ben abonim, if I want to give it to one of my sons, out of all my sons, it does work. The reason why the Mishnah says a case, it's a crazy case. A guy wants to give it to his brother instead of his daughter, to his neighbor instead of his daughter. Okay, it doesn't work. That's bad. But what if a guy wants to give everything to one of his sons, his favorite son? It seems like from the Mishnah it does work. Although, from the first part of the Mishnah, or the one on Daf Kuf Chovav Amud Beis, it seems it doesn't work. It says Mefurish that does not work. So that's the contradiction. Akaponim. Let's continue with Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga that we're familiar with. If he says, this case, here's a great case. Ben abanim. Yeah? That what? I want to give it to one of the sons. The son is royally Yarsha. He's part of the Yerusha. If I say I want to give everything to one of my kids, then it works. And if you say I want to give it to someone that's not in the Yerusha here, like the neighbor, like his brother, it doesn't work. Says the Heilige Gemara. The reason why it doesn't work is because you try to give it to your brother instead of your daughter, or you try to give it to your daughter instead of your son. But if it's this case right over here, you have 3 sons, you wanted to give it to one of the sons. Ubas ben abonos, you have 3 daughters, and you want to give it to one of your daughters, only one daughter, not divided equally. Dvarav kayamim. And that's not like the Mishnah that we had before. The problem is, Amos Sefer. It says in the end of our Mishnah, if you say that you want to give it to one of your sons, Dvarav kayamim, it works. Hainu Tanakama. So then what is the difference between Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga and the Tanakama? What could be a good answer to that? There is no difference. That's one answer. The whole thing is Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. It's like a chsur mechsur, it's missing some word. Okay. That's one way. Or in fact, there is in machlekes. Now, before we get there, the Gemara says, Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga afilu acher b'mokim bas ubas b'mokim ben kamar. Maybe Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga is so extreme that he's saying that you could give it even to your uncle, to your brother instead of your daughter. You could give it to your daughter instead of your son. And you'd have to force the words a little bit, because look at the words. What does Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga say? 4 lines down from the top. He's able to inherit. Is a daughter able to inherit right now when she has brothers? No. But we could force it. We could say, yes, she is royally Yarshai if she didn't have brothers. She's one step removed. When those brothers die, she's going to be the one to inherit. Okay. But the problem is, even if I want to force the words, it doesn't work so well. Why? Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga's son explains his father. He knows what his father said, and he explains his father that it's not the case. My father never argued with the Chachamim. He's in agreement with the Chachamim who say that if you try to give it to your daughter while you have sons, it doesn't work. Here, mefurish. What is the machlokes? Al-Bain ben Abanim. Only in this case, a son between sons, not a daughter between sons. So you can't even force that. So, I'm going to preface so we understand it better. It's like a chazar. The Gemara is going to say, well, maybe that's the son of Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga's opinion, and maybe somebody argues on him and says there is a machlokes with Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. Okay, so let's see. Shaboimer yirash b'chacham lo yirash. That my father Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga says in the case of a ben abanim, a son between sons, this Yerusha. That's the only machlokes. This case on the screen, if you have 3 sons, can I give it to one son over the other or not? So, Ibai Seima, we have 2 tirutzim. It's every month's Shabbos. No. I was talking to them about him up there. So what we could say is, what are you at? What's the question again? Rabbi said, what's the question here? The question is, it seems like Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga is saying the same exact thing as the first lines of our Mishnah. So what's going on here? Why would the Mishnah repeat itself? And the answer is that it's not 2 different people. The beginning of the Mishnah and Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga are the same person. It's all Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. You just have to understand it like this. If you're trying to do something illegal, you're trying to give it to your daughter when you have sons, it doesn't work. But if you only have daughters and you're trying to give to one of the daughters out of all your daughters, you have 1 son, and you're trying 3 sons, you're trying to give it to one son over the other ones, your favorite son. If you said the word Yerusha, it works. You don't even have to say the word Matana. Because Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga holds, Rabbi say, that you can use the word Yerusha. You don't have to be careful how you say it. You don't have to say, oh, I'm giving a gift. Yeah, you could even say the word Yerusha. And then the Mishnah continues. It's sheh. Like this, you just have to add a little shin. It has to be somebody that's available right now, a son within sons. It's a royal yarshay, but it works. Great. Says the Gemara, the halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. There's a little bit of a problem here. Let me ask you, what does it mean that halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga? We just said halacha like Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga holds that if you have 3 sons, I can give it to any son I want. 5 sons, I can give it to any son I want. There was another pshat in Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga right before that. There's 2 pshatim in the Gemara, we just said. Another pshat is Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga holds I can give it to my daughter, even if I have sons, I can give it to the daughter. So when I say that Allah is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga, what did he mean? What does the Gemara mean? So for that I need this little tiny taisus over here. I'll put it on the screen. Halacha near the dafka bein ben abanim, the second pshat in Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. Ubaz ben abanim is kapir Rabbeinu Shmuel. Who's Rabbeinu Shmuel? The Rishbam. Instead of finding it over there, just put a little taisus. It's easier to see. Anyway, so taisus says, the Rishbam says, that it means when I say that halacha is like Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga, it's the simple case, the least extreme. That what if somebody has a bunch of boys, he can decide which boy he wants to give it to, even if he uses a lashon of Yerusha. Omer Rav Shmuel. Halacha ki Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga v'chein Omer Rava. Halacha ki Rabbi Fayga. Even Rava says this. Omer Rava. My time of the Rabbi Yochanan ben Fayga. Where did he get it from? That I could give it to one son over the other. Omer Rava. Haya b'yom hanchilas banav. We're going to see tomorrow that this pasuk v'haya b'yoyim hanchilai is really referring to the day a person dies. The day he dies, he gives it over. I would think such a thing. But Akabarim says over here v'haya b'yoyim hanchilai is banav. That a person, it doesn't happen automatically. A person can give it, he can decide and dictate where the portions go. You go to this son over that son. There's another pasuk. So this is a great chiddush. If you didn't know anything, if you came to the shir for one little chiddush, I think this is a nice chiddush. That in Rebbitzen Ben Fayga, Rebbitzen Ben Fayga says that a father has the authority to decide who gets what. I can give everything over to a son, but there's one exception to Rebbitzen Ben Fayga, and that is the portion of the b'chayra. So let's say there's 3 sons. You divide everything into 4 pieces. The b'char gets 2, and everybody else gets 1 piece. 25, 25, 25. The b'char gets 50%, and the other 2 brothers get 25%. 25% of the entire Yerusha, the father cannot take away from the b'char as Yerusha. If he wants, he could say the 25% you're supposed to get as Yerusha, I'm going to give it as a gift. If he uses those words, then it works. But if the father says, I want to give you're a bad b'char, you're a bad guy. I want to take what you have, everything you have, and give it as Yerusha to my other son. It's not going to work on the 25% of the b'char. It'll work on the other 25% of the regular Yerusha that everybody gets. It's called the chelik pashat. It's going to work on the chelik, not on the chelik b'char. Why? Because it says in the pasuk, lo yuchal levaker. A father doesn't have the right to take the b'char and give it away. But anybody could infer, and this is a child inferring. How do you say? Inferation. There's no such word I know. Inference. He's right. Inference. I mean, our lawyer here is looking at me. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Inferation sounded good for a second, but your father-in-law saved you over here. Inference. That what? If I tell you that a father cannot take the b'chara part and give it to any other son, I can infer from that he could take any other part and give it to any other son. Oh, so if I learn that from this pasuk lo yuchal levaker, why do I need another pasuk b'yoyim achila is banam? You're about to ask me, David? What? Oh, we had the kasha. I don't know. It's a good child. I have to look into it. We had the question already on Friday. Maybe it was matana, maybe this. He said losses over there. I don't know. I have to look at it. I don't know the whole. I hear it's a good kasha. What? Matana. So that's one answer. Maybe this. He kept all the tires. Don't try to tell me before this. How do you do it? Okay. What do you say? What's your shot? I don't know. I guarantee you, if you ask Rabbi Didya, in a millisecond, I'll tell you and it'll be a good answer. Ask it. Maybe other people look into it. What does it say in the pasuk? I don't know. So now we have 2 psukim. Why do we need 2 psukim? One is as one of that a father has the right to give any one of his sons all the b'chayra. By the way, I'll repeat this again. If you're thinking of doing it, it's a terrible idea. From experience, from people that I know, people that are bitter their entire life, try to be as fair and as even as possible with all your children. Don't play favorites ever, especially not after you die. Not a good idea. It breaks families. If you want your family to exist, it breaks family. I'm just giving you eitzah from what I know. I might be wrong. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But you have the right to do it. You have the right to take everything you own, give it to one son. Somebody told me from the other shir, his father just gave him 2 apartments. The other brothers got nothing. It's okay. I'm thinking, wow, good for you. It's geschmack, but good luck, you know. Amud Beis Daf Yomi Beis. Why do I need that pasuk? Oh, so we have a little bit of a kavachimer chart over here. Those are easy. I love these sponsors. Thank you. How do you say his name? I'll read it from the screen here. But I'll tell you what the problem with the screen is. It's great, but it doesn't. I don't remember to put it in the right spot. It's all the way in the beginning where you put it in. So here, turning to the daf, Cheshvan, Berkovici family. I like it. It's good. It'll be on the screen. L'schus Klal Yisrael and Glenn Esterson, dedicated to Gilad Jacob Israel. Thank you for bringing the daf into my life. Baruch Hashem. Be'ezras Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So, thank you. These are great. 3-worded. Wait till next one. No, now that we know that we can do it, let's limit it. That's it. I'll do as many words as a person wants. No, there's a limit, but for the right price. Not in the cheshbon of Torah. Great. So it says the Gemara like this. Oh, we're going to the chart. Let me just see. Oh, so let's do this. This Gishmak. We learned this a few times, but let's do Chazar. There might be some new people that are not familiar. Let's talk about this. I just saw this in Ami magazine. I didn't look at it, but they had a thing about the Bezdin, and I just saw that. And my cousin is on the not this week's Bezdin, but he's one of the Dayanim there, David Joselowski. So I literally saw it for a second. So I hope I'm saying the right thing. I'm pretty sure they were talking about this halach of Roike ben Musuk, and they were talking about inheritance. More than that, I don't know. So here's what happens. There's a guy and he dies. After he dies, what happened? He won the lottery. $1 billion. It happens now in America. You get $1 billion in the lottery. How many parts does the Bechar get of the $1 billion? He gets one part, regular. He does not, we don't give him a double portion on the $1 billion. Let's see. So times 2. No, you don't get times 2. What do you get? That's what you get. Oh, only $330 million. Only. Nebuch. That is before taxes. It's Narvayim. He's going to be a Oni Marud. He's Nebuch going to have $150 million left. And it's, no, between all the people coming in, all the mishpacha that shows up out of the woodwork, I'm your karev, he's going to have nothing left. That's a Nebuch. Had he had the 2 portions, it would have been good. So that's called Roy. Now, did you see what just happened? Roy means potential, future earnings. Anything that is earned by the state after the death of the father, the Bechar doesn't get 2 parts, such as a lottery, such as rental income, such as increase in value, whatever it is. Yerusha, all that stuff, a Bechar does not receive 2 parts. Even a loan that was paid back does not receive. Now we passing. We said that's the halacha. A loan, somebody paid back the father $1 million that he owed him, and he's late in paying it back. The shmegegi paid it back a year late. Oops! If had he paid it back on time, the bechor would have gotten 2 parts. But he paid it after the levaya, nothing. Okay. But what about the pashut? What about the son, the pshutim? Do they get to inherit future income that comes out of the state? Of course they do. Here, look, they all just inherited the lottery. Yeah? Future income from the state, who gets it? The government? The kids get it. So in other words, the kids get roi. A bechar does not get roi. So that means that the pashut has more strength than the bechar's part. The bechar doesn't get, we're trying to make a kavachomer. We're trying to show that the bechar, his part is weaker than the pashut part. He does not share in roi, and they do share in roi. Okay? He also gets roi on a simple part, but on the bechar part, he doesn't get. So now let's see the kavachomer. We have a simple kavachomer. Seriously. The regular brother, not the bechar, he gets roi, he gets potential income, he gets to share in the lottery, and the paid up loan, and the Yerusha and everything. He gets a regular share. I'm going to say it inside the Gemara. I'm going to show you how it looks on a chart. It's not necessary to have a chart, but it's fun. The Torah says that the father has the right to take it away from his simple son and give it to the other simple son or to any son he wants. Bechar, shura koichai. The bechar, his part, the bechar part, right? There's 2 parts to the bechara. There's the 33% or the 25% that all the brothers get, and on top of that, there's another part called the bechar part. So on the bechar part, that you cannot inherit futures, you can only inherit what he has. It's weak. So certainly the father should be able to take it away from him and give it to any brother he wants. If the father can take away a strong part that the other brothers are able to inherit even future, but he can do whatever he wants with it, and he say, hey, the future lottery, the future income, all that stuff, I'm going to take from you, I'm going to give it to so-and-so. Forget that part. All pashut parts, the father has the right to move around, to give it from one son to the other. So certainly the father should have a right to give the bechar part away, because the bechar part is the weakest part. It's the part you don't get from futures, only from current. So Mamela, I need a pasuk. That's one pasuk that I need. Now let's see it inside the chart. Here it goes. A pasuk brother is very strong. He gets to inherit Roy, futures, like the Powerball. Yet, what happened, Gary? Yet, the father could take his portion and give it to whoever he wants. In other words, it's weak. The portion is weak because he can give it to whoever he wants. It's a small muscle. So, a B'char's part, which is small to begin with, certainly the father could take it around and give it to any son he wants. There's a beautiful Reb Avram, the brother of the Gain. He says a beautiful idea. Numbers. You have number 1, number 10, and 100. Those are single. 1, 10, and 100. What's double that? 2, 20, 200. How do you spell B'char? 220, 200. Beis Chaf Reish. The B'char gets double. Beis Chaf Reish. 220, 200. Says the Gemara. Tamaloy Mar. Oh, so that's why I need a pasuk. Lo yuchal levaker. That's one pasuk. And now we're going to do the Kavachaimer and the exact opposite, and that's why I need the second pasuk. So just say that pasuk. Say that a father cannot. Oh, I would think that the father can take the weak part, the part of the B'char and give it to whoever he wants. Lo yuchal levaker. He cannot do that. He can't move it. So just say that, and then I'll know everything else. The same Kavachaimer but in the reverse. B'char. Now that we know the B'char is in bad shape. A B'char is in bad shape. Why? Because he doesn't get a portion in the futures. Nevertheless, even though he's weak, the father can't touch it. So the simple brother, the regular brother, where the Torah said that he could take futures, like the father shouldn't be able to touch it. He could touch it, and he could. So the father cannot move around the B'char's part. The father could move around the simple parts, and that's why I need 2 psukim. Let's see how it looks in the chart for a second. A B'char is very weak. He doesn't get a portion of futures. The father is. The portion is very strong that the father can't move it around to give it to another brother. It's stuck by the B'char. So I would think that a Pashat whose portion is very strong, that he could share it in futures, certainly it's so powerful that the father shouldn't be able to move it around. Says the Gemara. Omar B'zreiko, Omar Rabami, Omar Chanino, Omar Rebbe, says Rebbe. Okay, remember this. This is Rebbe. Rebbe, the one who wrote the Mishnah, Halacha, Kir B'yochanan ben Broika. Here, Rebbe paskins, and it's good to remember that even for tomorrow. Rebbe paskins like Kir B'yochanan ben Broika. That what? That a father has the right to give any son he wants the entire Yerusha, besides, as we just learned, the B'char portion. Even if he said it in a lashon of Yerusha. Omar le Rebbe Abba. Rebbe Abba comes in and argues on this. Hoyre itmar. There's an actual case. Rebbe paskined an actual case. And from an actual case, you can't paskin anything. Yeah? It was the actual case. By the way, I still want to ask the Olam before we get there. When you hear the words Maiserav, it's a sefer on the Vilna Gaon called Maiserav. It's all his monogam. But just those who know how to translate Hebrew, what does Maiserav mean to you? Huh? A big story of a Rav. That's what you say. Anybody else argue that? Everybody says, huh? Huh? Mata Omer? Menachem? Oh, when a Rav does something, Allah Ma'aseh. I also thought that until yesterday.
The story is more powerful. I mean, it's more compelling when you hear that the Rav actually followed through with it. So
it's more compelling. Rav, in other words, it's powerful. Not the Rav. The Rav. Rav is great, and that's the pshat. That's what we're going to see from the Gemara here. That's what it means. Interesting. Anyway, so the Gemara says like this. what's the difference? Let's say you saw Rebbe, you were there, you mamish witnessed it. A father, the story was, you heard, you were there, you saw, a father said, my son should get all of it. And Rebbe said, oh, we're going to do it. Go, take it all. All you guys, Nebuch, you got 0 Yerusha. You were there. You're going to tell people, Rebbe passing like Rebbitzen Ben Fayga. You know what? It's possible you're wrong. Possible what happened was, the father said that that son should get it all as a gift. Everybody agrees that as a gift, a father could do that. So you don't know that Rebbe passing like Rebbitzen Ben Fayga. Maybe you missed one little detail. You don't know the lashon that the father used. Rebbitzen Ben Fayga says that even if he uses a bad lashon of Yerusha, it works. You don't know. Maybe you don't know. Maybe what you saw Rebbe saying is not exactly that. But anyway, let's see the Gemara. So what's the machlokes? Because it seems like halacha, the Rebbe said halacha is Rebbitzen Ben Fayga. Reb Abba says no, he didn't say that halacha is Rebbitzen Ben Fayga. There was a story, it was a Ma'aseh Chaya. That's what happened. Oh, so what's the difference if it's a Ma'aseh Chaya? Sometimes, if you asked me before I saw this Gemara, I would say to myself, what would I say? I would say, oh, Rav Paskin, he actually Paskin like this. It's much better than, oh, the halacha is like that. He did. Sometimes a rabbi says, oh, you're allowed to eat chol of a stam. I don't know what. Moshe Paskin, let's say, I don't even know. You're allowed to eat chol. You think he himself did it? No, he didn't. So I want to say, oh, but if somebody says, I saw Reb Moshe Feinstein eating chol of stam, oh, that's unbelievable. That's the most powerful thing possible. That's what you think. So, oh, you see Ma'aseh Rav over here. Some say the halacha, to say halacha is like that, that's more powerful. And some say, no, Ma'aseh, when you see a story, Rav is greater. So, every time we say things like this, I love to say that one of my favorite stories, Ma'aseh Chaya, there's a Rebbe that he went to the mikveh, and after the mikveh, he took a nail clipper and he cut his toenails. So it became like a minhag by the Hasidim that you go to the mikveh, after you go to the mikveh, you cut your toenails. And when the Rebbe found out about it, he's like, no. When my nails are soft, I cut my toenails. It's not like you have to cut your toenails in the mikveh. There's a lot of different, the Brisker Rav, he once moved the broom. There's a famous story. He moved the broom away from the B'digas Chametz. So now, a lot of his Hasidim, they take a broom, they put it by the B'digas Chametz or the Lukas Neres, whatever it was, and they move it. Okay, that's Ma'aseh Rav. So says the Gemara Torah Rabbanon. When you hear a Rebbe saying something in learning, you don't learn halacha from that. Not from a story. I heard this story about Rebbe Yashiv. These twist ties? They're not so popular anymore. So somebody came to ask Rebbe Yashiv, what if I have a twist tie and I go like this? Is you allowed to do that on Shabbos? He said, yeah. And then another guy came, he said, if I twist a tie, am I allowed to do this on Shabbos? He said, no. Well, you told my friend you're allowed to. He said, no, your friend asked, are you allowed to twist a tie? That you're allowed. But to twist a tie twice, you're not allowed to. That's already Kesher Shekayama. Shomer, you're not asking to that? Huh? A different way. What's a different way? He went like this and like that. He made it like a real kesher. Okay, again, don't pass him from the shear. It's just an idea. Like, just because the Rav said a certain thing, you can't always. Yeah. Says the Gemara. Unless the Rav says this is halacha l'maisa. Shoal v'amruloi halacha l'maisa. V'yelech v'yasa maisa. Now, if you asked, is this the halacha l'maisa? Yeah. U'belvat shelo yidama. You cannot compare one thing to another. Ask the Gemara, Mayu belvat shelo yidama. V'kol haTorah kula demuyadim daminallah. The whole Gemara is based on comparing one thing that a Tana said to another thing. How can we extract the halacha from this to that? So the Gemara says you're right. Omar Ravashi Yochik Omar. U'belvat shelo yidama b'treifos. You shouldn't compare when it comes to treifos. There's a couple of stories about treifos. A very interesting story I saw about treifos is that A treifa means an animal or a person that's not going to live. He has a certain injury or a certain condition that he's not going to live. So there's a Rav that somebody came to him and said, he has a certain something. So he says, go to Eretz Yisrael. She says, why go to Eretz Yisrael? He said, because the Shulchan Aruch, the Beis Yosef, paskins that that's not considered a treifa. But the Ramah says it is a treifa. So if you go to his makam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu considers what he's saying. What's going on the screen over there? That's weird. He's sleeping on the job or something. Fine. Another mice about a treifa. There's a doctor called up a guy. He says, what do you want to hear first? The bad news or the really bad news? He's like, okay, I'll take the bad news first. He says, I'm sorry to tell you, but you only have 24 hours to live. He says, that's bad news. So what's the really bad news? He says, oh, I was supposed to call you yesterday. So anyway, you have something called a treifa. The sanya, and treifa is zu doimel zu. You can't say, oh, there's a hole in the heart, and it's going to die. So also, if there's a hole in the liver, it's going to die. You don't compare one to the other. And don't wonder. So here we have. It's not the greatest picture. I just took it out of the book. I took it with my phone. It's not the. Basically, when we get there, we'll have gewaldige stuff. But this is a picture of the Tzoymes Hagidin. Okay, I was in a factory where they were checking a lot of. Different hechsherim do it different ways. Like if you get the top hechsher, they check, they stick into every Tzoymes Hagidin. They go like thousands, and they don't find anything. The other hechsherim, the ones that are a little cheaper maybe, or not so much, but they check a sample and they say, okay, there's nothing going on there. These chickens are strong. You don't have to do some. Okay, that's everybody has to rub in the. I'm not getting into that now. That little thing, the sinew, whatever it's called, the Tzoymes Hagidin. Interesting halacha. If somebody takes a knife where the red arrow is and cuts it, treif, you can't eat it. This animal is going to die. If somebody cuts right above, on a higher part, imagine, the Tzoymes Hagidin say, I don't want to show myself, but I'll show myself. Over here, cut, the arrow is going to die. Cut it over here, not going to die. How's it possible? This is worse. This is closer to the body. This is closer to the hip. Higher up where it's green, you cut over there, kosher. So you don't know anything about kashrus and treifas, and you didn't study it, you don't know the sugya. You say, oh, I was at the Rav and he said that it cut down oyer, it's treif, so certainly up there. No, you can't compare one thing to the other. Lower down, it's going to die. Higher up, if you say the halacha like this, should we do it? No, I have to say halacha l'maisa. When you hear something that I said, that happens all the time. Yeah, this Rav told me like this. This Rav, and you see something that I did terrible. It's mamish against halacha. Like the crew, don't rip it up. You have to come and ask me. Maybe I have a reason. If I could figure it out, I will tell you. And if not, I'll take it back. So Gevalga Maisa, I didn't find it yet, I didn't have time, but of the Chavetz Chaim. The Chavetz Chaim, somebody came to him and said, I have a question on your Mishnah Berurah. So the Chavetz Chaim said, it's a great question, but the Mishnah Berurah paskin. That's the halacha. He said about himself, the Mishnah Berurah paskin. He worked on it for 22 years, 24 years. That's the halacha. You're right, I don't have an answer right now. Before you rip something up, come to me, maybe I could answer it. And I'll take it back, and we'll see tomorrow's daf at least twice, two different Atana, Amoira, they took it back. We saw Rava. Rava got up with the other day. He had an Amoira that stood and said, I made a mistake. They'll do it. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. Another one. After he dies, he says about himself, don't rip it up, but don't paskin based on my psak. You have a good question, now leave the halacha that I paskin in limbo. Don't tear it up. Maybe if I was there, maybe I could correct myself. And also don't learn from it. The dayan only has what a person sees. By the way, there's a halacha nida that when a dayan sees a certain mara, It's masha ein of rois, even if tomorrow everything changes and whatever, different things happen physically to it, and it changes color, whatever it is, masha rois, masha ein of rois. But anyway, right now, a dayan says, listen, I have a major question on this halacha. Yeah, he was Galadar, he lived in a previous generation, but it doesn't make sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to me, so right now, today, I cannot pass him based on it. Rabboisai, have a wonderful day, have a good Voch. Thank you for coming.